Like, you don't know what happened to her.
Well, thanks. I retired.
You retired?
I retired from that. Now I'm doing WWE, so I think it's a little bigger and better.
Yeah, you wear less clothes.
Exactly. I'm basically in underwear.
Yeah.
There you go, Gay Steve.
Things
there you go,
like.
buddy.
Things I like in a man. Right there, baby.
Now let me ask you, Mike, or Ms. rather. Now, I remember on the show, back there, because that was when MTV was, Real World was in its highlights.
Prime,
I mean, that was in its prime. But I remember watching, and then a couple years after that, I checked out a couple years after that or whatever. But then they kept bringing back for the Road Rules and all that stuff. But now there's just so many reality shows out there. I mean, you can't even keep track of them anymore, and they don't become celebrities like you guys did back then.
Yeah, it's saturated now, and the thing I wanted to do most was get out of the reality thing, and it took me about 4 years to get out because I started wrestling on the independent scene while I was doing all those challenges, and finally WWE called and said, "Listen, would you like to go on Tough Enough and win? And you could possibly win $1 million contract." I didn't win the contract; I came in second, but they still impressed the WWE execs enough to where they gave me a contract to go to developmental. Went to developmental. Started on SmackDown. Now I'm on Raw and having a blast with it.
Because I remember even on the Real World, you developed this Miz character how many years ago? Because you busted it out on the Real World.
Well, actually, it started on the Real World back in New York because I was the outcast. Nobody liked me, and I was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I never get to explain my mind, so I'm going to create this character called the Miz and tell everyone exactly how I feel about them. And if they don't like it, I just blame it on the Miz. It wasn't me, it was the Miz. Now, however, here's the funny part. Everyone liked the Miz more than they liked me. It's like, well, wait a second here. How does this work out?
Right. Well, and then, because you were a Midwestern guy, I mean, so you really were the outcast. I remember they portrayed you as being a racist.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was brutal for you, bro, in New York.
I remember coming back to Cleveland, Ohio, and the first episode airing, and literally everyone, like radio stations, were having me, I hate this kid. He represents Cleveland wrong. He's terrible. And like literally, like people were ragging on me and saying, "Call in! I dare Miz to call in! I know you're listening now." And I'm like, "What is this? You're trying me wrong. I'm not a racist."
Because back then, when we watched reality show on television, that was real life. We didn't realize how much manipulating and editing was going on back then, and they could really manipulate you to almost anything they wanted you to be. But back then, we took it as the gospel. You were hated.
Exactly. I was disliked, just like I'm disliked on WWE now. I mean, is there something about me that people just don't like? Honestly,
which is weird because when you walk in, you have the aura of you're a cool dude. Like you seem like a great guy. Which is
I think so too. Yeah, I walk into an arena and I get booed out of the building.
Do you really?
Yeah.
But they always say it's